Okay, so now the first thing I want to do is I want to tell my dog where to sniff. So then I go out with my dog. My dog is super happy because we just play some games. My dog is focused on me. My dog understands that we're a team now. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell my dog how much I respect them by letting them sniff right away. And they're now allowed to sniff and experience that sniffing. And I'm not gonna like rush my dog. I'm literally gonna let my dog just have its time sniffing. Now, the second my dog looks at me or orients back to me, I am gonna say my word yes, and I'm gonna toss a treat or do a touch command or do whatever it takes to encourage that dog to come to me. I may want to run a little bit away from my dog till my dog comes to me. So now it's like, okay, I gave you the sniff time, and when you finish the sniffing, you now had all this good feeling. So I'm gonna add to that good feeling by saying my word yes and by getting you to come to me. And wow, now I just started my walk with such influence, with such a good relationship with my dog. So the next step is I'm actually gonna start moving with my dog. Now, at the beginning, I may not move very fast, or I may not have a lot of attention from my dog. So instead of setting my dog for failure, I'm actually gonna be very intentional on the next steps. And when I start my walk at that point, it's gonna be the most confident pace I can master. So right after the dog came to you, I wanna pick up my pace and actually walk very determinedly. Okay, and now I'm like walking and walking and walking, and I'm not gonna do it for very long. I'm gonna do it maybe 2-3 minutes, and guess what? Right away, I'm gonna stop, ask my dog to focus on me, and reward with another sniff. So now I'm using some of that energy and some of that momentum, and I'm directing that energy properly, and I'm getting the dog to actually focus on me and play with me. With that, so the dog sees your fast pace as a game. So then you can start that fast pace, and then you can start walking a little bit, and then you stop and you give your dog a sniff. Now again, your dog, you're not gonna rush your dog. You're gonna let your dog sniff for as long as it wants, and guess what's gonna happen again? The second that dog looks at you, the second that dog orients back to you, wham, yes, and you can do anything you want to interact with your dog for that moment. So then your dog learns, if I go to a sniff over there, that's okay. That's rewarding. But when I look at you, when I come back to you, that's a party. That's awesome. I want to be with you. I want to look at you. So what you're going to notice is your dog is going to go, that's their sniff. Because they're like, what are you going to do next? Right? Now, notice that right now in my relationship with my dog, I'm adding a little bit of excitement, right? There's a lot of energy I'm adding to the balloon right now. Now, the reason why I'm adding energy to the balloon at the beginning of the walk is because the dog has already energy, and the environment is going to be very rewarding for my dog. So I have to be competition to the environment. I have to be more interesting than that squirrel. So then at the beginning of my walk, yes, I'm going to spend a little bit of energy with my dog. But after what I call the 10 minutes of hell, like the 10 minutes where my dog has like the zoomies or like the most energy, then I'm going to chill on my walk. And now we're going to just be together and experience the walk a lot calmer and kind of relax. And maybe you allow your dog to sniff randomly, and maybe you don't have that leash so close to you, and maybe you're having more of a free walk where your dog is allowed to explore. But again, if my dog orients back to me or looks at me, guess what am I going to be doing? Yes, buddy. Good job. I may bring my treat from my face down like a watch command to give my dog a treat when they look at me. Now, at this point, after my 10 minutes of craziness, I'm actually really mellow with my dog now. Now I'm not high energy anymore. I'm just being with my dog. Now, one of the things I can do is if my dog energy cannot match mine, I can actually change my speed when I walk. So I can walk at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So I'm gonna vary how fast my feet move. Now, you guys remember when we talked about resources, how we said that movement was a resource? So what happens when your dog looks at you during a walk and you speed up? You just gave an amazing resource to your dog for looking at you. So your dog is gonna think that the most times that he looks at you, the better his life becomes. So now you have a dog checking constantly on you, constantly while you're walking. Okay, so use movement as a reward. So instead of just changing your pace just because, wait for that eye contact and then boom, 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 and then slow down again. Your dog is not gonna focus on you. The second they focus on you, boom, 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 right? So notice that now my walk is a big game. I'm not just going out to have exercise. I'm going out again. The starting point of the reason why you're going out for a walk is really important. If your starting point is just to do exercise, then you don't have to do any of this. You may actually go for a run and just run and come back home. But if your starting point of a particular walk is to strengthen the relationship with your dog, so your dog wants to learn with you, listen to you, feel safe with you, and not be reactive or not escalating intensity and things like that, then I'm going to do my walk a little bit different. I'm going to do the kind of walk that I'm talking about, where I'm actually intentionally telling my dog what's good without always doing the same rewards. So notice so far, we did games before going for a walk because I want my dog to focus on me and slow down and the balloon to be lower energy. Well, the first thing we did was sniffing for paying attention to us. Then we did games for redirecting onto us. Now we're doing a fast walk at the beginning to make sure the dog can keep up with us. And then another sniff time for looking at us. So we're constantly intentionally rewarding the dog for their focus on us. Now we're not begging, we're not forcing, we're waiting for that moment for the dog to do it. We're not telling them, hey, Passion, look at me. That's a different exercise. We're not ready for that because we just started our walk. So when your dog has high SOT levels, and we talked about this before, your dog's ability to listen to you is not as strong. So instead of setting myself for failure and start asking a lot of things from my dog, I'm actually just going to interact with my dog in very organic way, like what I'm saying. So I'm now being organic with my dog, interacting with my dog and rewarding my dog with different things without having to tell my dog what to do. So this is when you get a dog that actually knows how to problem solve, how to have emotional intelligence, because everything in your life with your dog is purposeful. So you're constantly helping them realize that the interaction with you is about having fun, respecting each other, and really listening to each other. Can you guys hear me well? Mm-hmm. If you guys have any problem, please just unmute yourself and say it. So it's a little bit easier if you just say something instead of texting me, because I apologize. It's harder to read when I'm chatting with you guys. All right.
I have a question. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure, Camille. Go for it.
So we really try this with Ailey already, and that works really well. Like we figure about like first make some games before and after, like sniffing and everything. The only thing is now 2 days I'm doing that, and after a moment, I saw like after she's more and more excited about sniffing and wait and some game like that. And after a moment, she started to bite my hand, and I think this is because she wants to play. So I try to calm down and I put some treat on the floor and say search like that. She search and she focus on something else. But I think, and I want just your confirmation, but do you think it's just because I create more and more excitation and she's over the point, so she wants just to play. So I need just to stop her down before and just chillax a little bit earlier.
Yeah. So whenever you do an activity with your dog, you have to look at your dog as an individual. Okay. So for example, if my dog is not very focused on me, I may give more energy on getting my dog excited. Okay. But if I already have a dog that is already very excited, I'm not going to play games that are going to increase excitability. I'm actually going to play games that are going to do the opposite, create more relaxation. That's really important. So if you already have an excitable dog, you don't do games that are excitable, because that's going to create more excitability. If you have a dog that is very chill and you want the dog to actually be more focused on you and actually be a little bit more wanting to play with you, I'll do more excited games. Like, for example, Passion, in the mornings, she's a lazy bum, right? She really prefers not to go for a walk. So, and because of that, I will actually play a little bit more excitedly with her in the morning just to get her going. Now, Hikaru is already excited in the morning. So then what I'm going to play with her is more calming games. Now, if you don't know, like, some calming games and some excitable games, we are in the process of being able to provide those for everybody. Making little videos and things like that. That's one of our goals right now. So we do appreciate your patience, because making new systems takes a little bit of time, but we're actually working on that. Now, another thing is that notice also that I only said 5 to 10 minutes max. Yeah, the excitement for the walk cannot be very long. So so I started my process of going out of my door, and I already play games, and within those playing games and doing my fast walk and getting my sniff breaks, that was all 10 minutes. So your exciting games should be no more than a minute or two at maximum. So then what I do is I go, okay, let's go. And we start walking now slower, more calmly, and with a pace. It's very, very important when you start walking, like we actually want to now go for the walk, that you have a pace. If you don't have a rhythm, your dog feels lost. Dogs have 4 legs. For them, it's a little bit more difficult to be kind of like meandering. Okay. Now, have you guys ever seen a pendulum?
Yeah.
So pendulums, can you ever be upset looking at a pendulum? It's very hard because it's such a calming movement. It's like you just feel calm the entire time. So if I have a dog that may be very reactive, I may not choose to walk straight. I may choose to do figure 8s. Now, let me tell you something. Doing a figure 8 is the same as watching a pendulum. If you do a figure 8 with an actual momentum and a good pace, the dog will completely be hypnotized. It's one of the best tools you have when a dog becomes too reactive or like too intense. Now, at that point, I may have a really short leash. So my dog cannot bite my hand, cannot bite my leash, cannot. So I actually have a little bit of control over my dog. But if my elbows are here, if my elbows are intense and tense, okay, that's a challenge because that's not calmness. A pendulum is not tense. It's hanging. All its weight is at the end and it's just moving back and forth. So it's the same thing when you're doing your walk for relaxation. Once you start doing your walk for the art of walking, where you want to calm your dog down, your weight of your arms has to be very heavy. Your hands have to be low to the ground, but with a short leash. And then what you do is I may not choose to walk like a block. I may choose to literally just do figure 8s, big, long figure 8s. And then what you're going to notice is you're going to notice a dog that's slowing down, that is breathing. That's another thing. Dogs are your mirror image. When your dog is biting us, if we imitate that energy or if we have a lot of intensity inside ourselves, our dog is not going to be able to calm down that fast. But if I take deep breaths and I focus on breathing, my dog is going to mimic that right away. That is something that you can always use. All your challenges, all your like own emotional instabilities, everything that's challenging in your life cannot exist within breath. Okay, so one of the things that you like to do is you would like to always, whenever you have a moment where somebody said something that made you upset, stop. Don't say anything. Breathe. Take a moment, because that's not you talking anymore. That's your ego. That's your reaction, your past. Because somebody did something to you, or you experienced something and that became a trigger. And now when somebody else says it, even if it wasn't meant like that, we become reactive. So walking with breath and acting with breath is really good. Hold on, guys. There's somebody trying to get into the call, but they don't have the link. I'm just going to send them really quickly. Okay, sent. Okay, so you guys understand. So now I did a little bit of excitement at the beginning, or a little bit of calming games at the beginning. I let my dog sniff. I then, as soon as my dog looked at me, or like looked at me or oriented to me, I did a close exercise, a touch exercise, or I threw the treat. Now from those exercises, which one is more intense? The throwing the treat is really intense. So if I already have a dog that's very excitable, I'm not going to do that game. I'm going to do the close. Close is not as intense, right? And then what I do is I start to walk nice and fast at the beginning. Then I stop, give another sniff break, and I repeat my orientation, my proximity game. And then I walk with purpose, with a pace, and now we're going to create relaxation in our walk. Now we're be there to relax. Now, I am not so much interested on the kilometers, how fast I get somewhere. I'm more interested again on that relationship with my dog. So as I walk, okay, I notice, wow, I could really use more calmness on my dog. So one of the exercises I can practice would be mark training. So mark training is when a dog puts its two front paws on something and lifts up their chest, and they feel very proud. And I may do mark training a little bit, and I may actually go to the very end of the leash and walk around my dog and come back to my dog by sliding on the leash and giving rewards. And I may teach my dog, hey, guess what? You can watch the world go by. And you're calm, I'm going to reward you. If you're calm, I'm going to massage you. If you're calm, I'm going to give you a kiss. Right? So now my dog is experiencing more calmness during the walk. Now, if my dog is not very good at mark training, I can do an up. Get 4 legs on top of something. And then you have a dog standing on something, and you can encourage a head drop. Put a treat on the nose and bring the head down. So the more your dog puts their head down, the more respectful and calm they become. So head drop. And now you let the world go by while you're walking, and you do a little bit of mark, and you do a little bit of up, and now you're creating more and more relaxation. And again, I'm not choosing games that are very specific. They're very specific or create low salt levels and the ability to have not high arousal. Because a lot of our challenges that we have, a lot of the struggles we see with our dogs is that they go from like 10 to 100. And there's nothing in between. They just went so intense. They saw a bird. Oh my God, there's a bird. Oh my God, there's a dog. Oh my God, there's a person. And they have this explosion of emotion, right? So I want to tell my dog that the best thing is our communication, our relationship, that we have the fun when we're together. And I am going to constantly be reminding my dog of great games to play that are going to cause all those things. Now, some of you have done a lot of classes. Some of you haven't done so many classes. So be where you are at. If you only know one game, think about that game and think about how can you make that game more relaxing. So if I know the game of catch, throwing a treat at my dog, how can I create more relaxation with that game? I can either go catch and throw it really quickly, or I can go ready, ready, ready. Just kidding. And then you throw it. Do you see how calming that was? So there is a couple of things that are always going to help you in the relationship with your dog. And one of them is understanding that you can always reinforce a behavior by either going to the spa and giving a massage, or being very gentle, or being very calm, or going to the disco. Woo! Let's go for it. Yeah! And everything in between. Okay? So you can choose what energy to create within the experience that you're having with your dog at any one time. Now, the skill that you're going to develop, the more you work with your dog and the more that you're in this journey of actually discovering yourself and joining us and helping yourself with your dog, is that you're going to be a lot more observant. And all of a sudden, you're going to realize how to help your dog. You won't even know how you know. You'll just do it. Right? And then all of a sudden, your dog is going to be helping you. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I just needed that. My dog did exactly what I needed. And I don't know how my dog knew. But you know why? It's because your dog is your mirror image. If you're giving this to your dog will give it back to you. That's how service dogs get created. Service dogs are not born. Service dogs are made. And we make them by giving them the most that we can give them in the best way that we can give them. And do we know how to do that at the beginning? Absolutely not. It's a journey. I have 19 years with my dog. I don't have to rush. I can spend time learning how to interact with my dog properly. It's okay to take time. Okay, so now we have, we know how to begin our walk by encouraging the dog to come to us to put the equipment on. We know how to release some of our balloon of energy, the air coming out of it. We know how to do that. We know how to provide the needs by letting them sniff. We know how to use that excitement that the environment is going to create at the beginning for our favor. And then we know how to bring our dog down into relaxation through the experience of walking. Okay, now with the cherry on top of this ice cream is if you can ever walk in a direction of a resource, you will get major bonus points. So what does that mean? When I'm walking with my dog, if it's a hot day and I get to a river and I tell the dog when to drink, I'm gonna look really good. I'm gonna get a lot of points on that video game of the life with my dog because I'm magnificent. I got water. And if I get in the water with them, whoa, even better. Now I'm leading by example. Okay, so if you can ever arrive to a spot with a resource, you get even more points. Now, let's say that it's not hot and it's not a great day, but you can go somewhere and have a picnic with your dog and feed them their kibbles of the day. Which brings me to the next point. A lot of you guys may be feeding your dog from a bowl, but that is very challenging for your dog because your dog is defined as a social predator. So as a predator, the most spiritual fulfilling activity they can do is work for their food. That is wired in them. So I may only feed once a day, and that will be at nighttime. But the remainder of the food will be throughout the day. So if I usually feed breakfast, it will be like I keep my breakfast in a Ziploc bag or with me at all times, and I use that as currency so I can take any chance I can to train my dog. Now, another resource is sniffing, right? So let's say you're walking on the road and you are doing your calm walk, and all of a sudden you notice a post somewhere in the distance, and you notice it's kind of wet. There's some female right there. So if you go and ask your dog to sniff there, and you ask them to maybe focus on you and then go and sniff, now you're getting major points too. Now remember, at the beginning of your walk, you can't ask your dog for anything, because at this point the balloon is full. But once you've been walking for a while and that balloon starts to decrease a little bit because you create a little bit of relaxation, guess what? When you ask your dog to do something, they'll be able to do it. They'll be actually able to focus on you, and then you go, whoa, good job, baby. Go sniff that post. There's lots of pee in there. Right? And that's fun. That's fun for your dog. And again, depending on how excitable your dog is how my sound is gonna come out. If my sound is if my dog is a dog that's kind of mellow and doesn't really, it's not very excitable, I'm gonna go, ready, go sniff. And if my dog is really excitable, I go, ready, sniff. So I can use my voice, I can use my body to create different emotions in my dog. So then you did whatever you had to do. You did some sniff times. You may have arrived to water. You may do a little bit of a lunge with your dog, a little bit of like a chewing. I sometimes will bring a chew with me, like a bully stick, and will sit somewhere, and I'm like, you want a little bit of the bully stick? And they'll go, nya, nya, nya. I'm like, off, out. I take it away. And then the dog is like, okay. And the dogs are kind of walking around. And if the dog is relaxed, I go, ready? And I give the bully stick, and they go, nya, 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 nya. And I'm holding it. And then go out, and I take it away. And I spend time looking at the cars, looking at the dogs. And the dog is all of a sudden not caring about dogs, not caring about people, not caring about cars, not caring about anything, except when am I going to get that bully stick? What do I have to do in order to get that bully stick? So then I only give the bully stick when my dog sits, settles, is calm, relaxed, and I go, nya, 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 nya. And I can pet and massage while he's eating the bully stick, and then I take it away. Right? Now, does every walk have to be like this? No. Like one of the things I mentioned at the beginning of this Zoom call was it is nice, it is actually really appropriate to begin each walk with a clear starting point. I may just want to go for a run. I may not want to be doing training. I may be tired. There may be many reasons why I don't want to do this kind of walk. But what I'm asking you to do is I'm asking you to consider the possibility of using your walk for more than just exercise. I don't know if you ever noticed, but I have a lot of people that like come and they say, well, I don't understand. My dog is really intense. He's really reactive. They have a lot of energy, but I'm exercising my dog 5 hours a day. And like, so how come if you're exercising your dog 5 hours a day, is your dog so intense? If intensity had anything to do with exercise, why would that dog be intense? Because that's too much. The more exercise you do, the more lactic acid on your muscles, and that creates a stress, and that creates more balloon effect. Okay, you need massages. You need like calmness. You don't need to give your dog 5 hours of exercise unless your dog was bred for that particular purpose. But none of you guys have a dog like that. And there are dogs that were bred literally to be working like 9 hours a day, like herding dogs, police dogs, like all of like a lot of other dogs are like that. Haley is close, but I don't think so. I think Haley can be a pet, no problem. But she's close. She has higher energy than normal dogs, for sure. Okay, but I don't think that exercise is required. Actually, the more people give like intense exercise and a lot of it, the more that you have all these behavior challenges, right? Okay, so we have a little bit of time where we cover how to have a walk that's a little bit more fulfilling. Very important, the pace that you use once you want to create that calmness. Now, that pace, okay, is very different within each person. And we call that pace harmonious pace. And we call it a harmonious pace when the heartbeat of your dog and your heartbeat sync. So what you're gonna recognize when you do it right is that your dog is not actually looking at anything. They're just following. And it's literally like my particular harmonious pace is always the same, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually my pace. That's how I walk. I'm a slow walker compared to many people. But when I have that pace, my dog matches me, and I know for a fact my dog is following. They don't care about the environment. They only care about my movement and moving together. That takes time. It takes learning how to breathe. It takes learning not to be focused on a particular thing, but just being there present and really, 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 really using that opportunity to not so much focus on your dog, but focus on you a little bit. I like mantras very much because mantras really help. Like for the longest time, I was always saying, it is easy for me to stay calm and in control. I'm an excellent pack leader. It is easy for me to stay calm and in control. I'm an excellent pack leader. It is easy for me to stay calm and in control. I'm an excellent pack leader. I know how to deliver. I give more than what I get. I help people in every way, shape, or form. Those are mantras that you can use while you're actually interacting with your dog. When you're doing that kind of walk, where you're not focusing on your dog and you're focusing on doing something for yourself, where your dog is going to be, oh my gosh, I just got to follow. I just got to be with you, right? And again, every single pace, it depends on that person. Like my harmonious pace maybe is slower than yours. I may be faster than you. But that's something that we're trying to reach. And at the end of the day, we just want to have fun with our dogs. We just want to have a good experience where we had a lot of fun. We got to travel the world together. We walk together, and my dog makes me laugh. They do the funniest things, right? So playing different games while you're going on your walk, depending again on the intensity of your dog, is what games you play. Like if I have a really intense dog, I may hide a treat on a tree or something, and then put my dog on a sit stay, because the sit stay is calming. So then I go and I hide my treat a little bit, and then I go, okay, where's the treat? And then the dog is like, what? And they start to sniff around. And then when they find it, I go, good job, buddy. Good job. Because I'm trying to create relaxation. Again, make it easy for your dog to succeed, because the only time that you can create relaxation is if you win. I mean, think about it. If something is really difficult for you and you can't do it, does that make you feel good? No. So you set it too difficult, then it's not going to be fun for you or for the dog. Okay, now let's open it up. Do you guys have any questions regarding walking specifically? Or like experiencing something? Or does anybody want to share something about your dog when you walk?
No, we're on a learning curve the whole time.
That's great, Sally.
Yeah, and it's all enjoyable, and I've been writing down the points to try out that you've been talking about, so thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Your dog is remarkable. Hendrix is such a happy-go-lucky dog.
Oh, he is.
He has these explosive moments all of the sudden. So it will be nice for him to learn more relaxed things.
Yeah.
For sure. But he just really wants to serve.
Yeah.
For
and he's
sure.
He's happy when he's able to jump up on things and stuff like that. So
And you know, because because he's such a big dog, and he does tend to use his body sometimes a little too much when he's walking, like pushing his body a little bit too much
yeah.
in the form of pulling. I would make it a point to always give my treats. If I was to give him a treat for any reason, always by my bum.
Okay.
So I'm constantly telling him this message: the closer you are to my bum, the best things that happen to you. Because that's going to actually help him not put so much weight forward.
Right.
That's actually going to help you understand that that's a happy spot. That's
Yeah.
a great spot to be in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you.
No problem.
Valley.
Hey, Anitra, nice to see you.
See you. So you know, Quattro pulls.
Yeah.
He's a real puller. I find that within the neighborhood in particular, he's very hyper vigilant.
Yeah.
He's like Paw Patrol. Like he is just.
How's your luring going? Have you been able to
Luring
lure?
is great. I think the luring when we were doing it, the double leash was a challenge. And now that I do it with a single leash, he has no problem. Yeah, no
Perfect.
problem at all with luring.
Perfect. So, you know, I would make it easier for him by not walking him in the neighborhood at the beginning.
Okay.
I would choose to give him the ability to learn how to be more relaxed first, and give him a lot of victories in places where he doesn't fail. Because when he's in the neighborhood, he already started hyper alert. And so you're already starting on a bad note. So if you can work on your foundation somewhere where he doesn't have to express such intensity, you will be more victorious. And when you actually introduce him back in the neighborhood, he's going to have such a solid wall that even those stressors coming in, they're not going to really move it very much.
Right. Well, I find it when I do take him outside of the neighborhood, he's great. I mean, he's great. He has no problem walking by people. He's having fun. It's a good thing. He's still reactive towards dogs, of course. But at what point do I reintroduce him to the neighborhood?
When I tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, just so you know, luring is like the most basic exercise. We haven't even played game yet because we couldn't lure him. So once we get that luring going, we'll actually be able to play so many games with him. Yeah. But we don't even know the basic games yet. So we're still at a very kindergarten level with him. So, but once you start having some fun with him and you start noticing he's not reactive with dogs outside the neighborhood, and you're having a lot of successes, and you're honestly telling me, Valley, I love my walks. They're so much fun. Then we can introduce the neighborhood. And I'll probably be going with you for those first walks.
Sure.
And that will be a really good time. But we have to be patient. Like I was saying, when we just started this Zoom call, it's not about how fast you go. It's not about how much you can achieve at one go. It's actually about building that awesome foundation where you can have a good experience with your dog, where you can bond together. A lot of people want results now. But that's not how it works. It took your dog time to build the intensity he has now. So it may not be very realistic for me to expect my dog to be fixed without taking time and doing things calmly. You know, whether you're a person or you're a dog or a cat, if you're in a constant state of arousal, constant state of like high salt levels, nobody enjoys your company. Because imagine that you're talking to somebody and you're saying something just normal, and all of a sudden they go, oh my God, and they start crying and they start like fighting with you, and you're like, what just happened? I don't understand. And this person is melting down because they had an emotional reaction, because they are like that, boom, 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 on their salt levels. Okay, so that's not enjoyable for anybody. So instead of like allowing the dog to keep practicing that high intensity, I actually want to teach my dog to listen to me while the salt levels are just high and come down, just high and come down. And I'm going to spend a lot of time really building that awesome, happy feeling about being in the low salt level. I'm going to give all the nicest things, all the best things, all my affection, all my everything when the salt levels are low. So then your dog starts ignoring that intensity and starts choosing things that are calmer. And that's where really there is something that Carl always likes to share with people, and that's capturing. And capturing is when you see your dog doing something awesome and you say yes, you mark it with a command, and you give your dog a resource. Okay, so if your dog has an issue with hyperactivity, reactivity, intensity, barking, things like that, and you're walking on the house and your dog is calm, guess what you should be doing? You should be rewarding for calmness. Now, you cannot reward by throwing a party, because then you're going to create more hyperactivity. You can reward by doing something I call a ninja treat, which is you super sneakily put a treat near your dog, and then when they wake up, all of a sudden there's a treat there. What? Right? So you can do things like that. So that's what I mean. Like, you have to set up yourself for success. And this event that I went to, okay, this event was about growing as an individual, growing as a person. How do you actually change? How do you use tools that are quantifiable, that create results, and that make you a better person? And every single of those lessons translate to every single species on the planet. It doesn't matter if you're a giraffe or a horse or a cat. On balance, individuals' behaviors that are too intense, they only happen because of few different things. You are too intense excited, you're frustrated, or you're afraid. Those are the reasons why things happen. Or another one would be just plain you don't have any education, right? So thank you guys for being here. Does anybody have anything else you want to share? Hello, Ryu. I have a kitty here. Say hi, Ryu. Hello. Here you go over there. Cat interruption. All right, guys. So if you have anything to that you like to know more about, you can always check on our Facebook group. All the links are going to be there for the Facebook group. I'm going to be posting them there every day, every morning before the Zoom call. We are also I had a couple of people that wrote to me asking to learn more tools of psychology for themselves and to actually help themselves with some challenges. Now, just a reminder that we actually Canaan Valley aim is to actually help evolve the human-dog relationship. So that's what we want. We want dogs helping people and people helping dogs. So we are starting what's called a clubhouse meeting. So that is going to be on Sundays at the center here in Squamish at 5 p.m. It is a free class. And this class is actually to learn about human psychology, not dog psychology. So if anybody's interested on attending, you're welcome. We will start the first week of September, that class. And that again is a class to help support each other to grow and to, like, we're not alone. I didn't grow alone. I had lots of people that helped me. And that's what it means to be in a community. And hopefully our dogs can become so balanced that we can give to others with our dogs. That's fun. It's fun to make people laugh with our dogs.
Which day of the week did you say?
Sunday at 5 p.m.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Valley. Maybe one more question before you go.
For sure.
So, Callie, and she's a pretty chill dog. When we leave the house, we can go right or we can go left. Oftentimes, we want to go right to the the park across the street. She wants to go left, that goes out into the bush. What do we do about enforcing our will of where we want to go versus where she wants to go?
100%. So there's different ways to do that. But because you guys had to build that trust relationship with her, it may not be necessarily the best thing to kind of engage in kind of like a little argument with her. It may not be the best because it took you a long time to build some trust, right?
Yes.
So have you ever heard of that story, Hansel and Gretel?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically what that story said is that they had all these candies that led them to the house, right? So that bush that she wants to go to has a lot more value than the other road, the other side. So what I may do is at nighttime, before I actually go for a walk, I may set something more smelly on the other side. It doesn't have to be food. Like, for example, it could be I had a dog that was a hound dog, and this hound dog didn't like treats, didn't like toys, and didn't like people and other dogs. So I had a really hard time motivating this dog. So believe it or not, I went and bought myself some raccoon urine, and then I got some Q-tips, and I will dip a tiny little bit of Q-tip and I will put it somewhere, and then I taught the dog to sniff on command. And all of a sudden, when I taught the dog to sniff on command, guess what the dog thought? You're not as bad after all. I may want to listen to you every once in a while. And I just added that tiny little amount where maybe you matter. You know what I mean? So it would be like I would prepare that path a little bit. I may have, and you may do it like right before you walk. You may like leave the house quickly and put like a really delicious sardine, okay? Like a little piece. Or like you'll put like, I don't know, a little bit of tuna or even like anything. Or like just a cotton ball with something weird. And so now your dog comes out and goes, I want to go to that bush, but what is going on over that side? Okay. And they may want to walk towards that side. And then you go, wow, Callie, good choice. I agree with your choice. Okay. You know what I mean? So it's giving more value to that particular choice instead of fighting against her when she doesn't want to go. Now, let's say that she's really not interested. She really doesn't want to go to that. And I don't have the time, I can't lure her, and things are not working out for you. I literally pick her up, walk her over there, put her down. Yeah. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's difficult, but if you can plan it and you can actually do something to encourage the dog to believe that that option is also valuable, that's great. Now, a lot of the times when you have a dog like Callie, that lacks self-esteem, okay, that didn't trust people from early on. One of the things that happens is if you have a routine, they do very poorly because that adds to that balloon. And as soon as you try to change anything, they freak out. They don't want to. So what I do with a dog that has lack of confidence or is feeling insecure or anything like that is I always make it a point to not have a routine. Try really hard to change things so they can do that predictability. Yeah. Okay. Another thing is that you may want to get out of your house, but not actually go for a walk. You may want to get out of your house and just play some games and come back in. So that will decrease that predictability. Hey, we're not going right or left. We're just going to go out and do some weird game with food and then come back. That's weird.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, it's not an obligation to make a routine with a dog. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, if we don't have a routine, because like that, the dog can be more flexible.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, because I check a lot online and they say we need to have a routine and everything.
I know. There's a lot
Okay.
of things that we still have a lot of growth to do as a human race in general.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
but there's a lot of changes in psychology. That's why it's so important for us to keep improving, keep learning. Like I learned things recently that I would never have thought that was even a thing. And now it's like, that's a really effective way to achieve something. So guess what? Throw everything else you know out of the window because this works better. Try it out for yourself. Check it out. Try things out and then keep that is good. You may read 50 books, and from those 50 books, they all say different things about the same subject. So you have to have discernment. Discernment is the ability to look at something, try it out for yourself, see if it works, and keep it. Not everything that people tell you is good. Even if they're doctors, even if they're lawyers, even if they're like big individuals, you always have to take information and say, well, I'm going to try, see, it sounds like that makes sense. Oh, that didn't work for me. So then you throw it out, right? And if something works for you, you keep that. And some things may work for you at a particular unit of time, and at other times they won't, and at other times they will work. So it depends how willing are you to grow. It's really interesting, you know, when I was away, they were telling us that you have to have a very high teachability index. So I'm like, okay, what exactly does that mean? What is a teachability index? So a teachability index is the answer to two questions. How willing are you to learn something? And how willing are you to change? So if you say, I'm 100% willing to learn something, I'm so inspired, I really want to learn something, but you don't want to change, your teachability is 0. Okay. So you have to, Ryu, thank you very much. So you have to know that at every one time, your teachability may change. You may have a great teachability in the morning, and at nighttime when you're tired, you have 0 teachability. So teachability is fluctuating, but the ability to ask yourself, am I teachable right now? Is a very good skill to have. So that's why you want to fluctuate, because it maintains your teachability. Failing keeps you teachable. The more you fail, the more you try new things, the more teachable you become.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else? All right. So we will put announcements on the group, and stay tuned. And thank you, Maria, for reminding me to hit record. Thank goodness for you. Really, really appreciate it. And I will be posting this call on the Facebook page, and we are looking for a person to help us do all this stuff. So we are hiring somebody to be part of the team so we can be a lot more accountable. Thank you all guys for your patience, and we will see you next week.
Vale?
Yes?
I'm looking for a job right now. I just finished my job and we will move to Squamish with Jens. So I don't know if you could be interesting about, but like I'm at 100% on Ellie now. So we make her on the daycare, and that was really good. After she was really more calmed down with the dog. So that gives us again some energy. And yeah, so I don't know if you want I send you my resume or.
Yeah, let's chat about that later. You can send your resume to info@canaanvalley.com. How about that?
Okay, cool. Thank
Awesome.
you.
See you next time, guys.
See you. Bye.